Round one. Fight.
Heroes never die.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
Power, sex, power. They both come down to one thing.
Hungry gamers.
Hello, and welcome, boys and girls, to the 199th episode of the Hungry Gamers podcast. We are powered by 8bit.net and those sexy legends at Audio Technica. I'm your extremely humble host, Brendan White. You can find me just about everywhere at Brendan 8bit. And joining me today, as usual, the hunter to my titan, the cola aficionado of 8bit. We're talking about Miss Allie Hart. You can find her at Miss Allie Hart. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. I wonder if our listeners know that pretty much whatever your intro is exactly what we were talking about before we started recording.
It makes it much easier for me to try and reinvent the wheel from scratch. If I've got sort of something semi-fresh in my mind that I can try and weave into some kind of little factoid or anecdote, I'll usually go there.
I mean, I feel like this one we should bring up, which is the, Pepsi Cola, Coke kind of rivalry that we brought up. So listeners out there, I just want you to know that this is a Coke household and Pepsi can go in the trash.
Amen. Yeah, we are Coca-Cola Amatel through and through. From front to back, all our 8-bit soldiers are pro Coke, and if we find out they are not, they will maybe be in the Centrelink lines looking for employment at another video game related outlet, because we don't entertain full strength Pepsi users here. But full disclosure, I will say and be honest that if we're going sugar-free varieties, I'm more of a Pepsi Max guy as opposed to a Coke No Sugar or Coke Zero or whatever it's called. Give me a Pepsi Max, but I'm in that choice. But full strength Coke, all day, every day, no buts.
Coke Zero vanilla over here.
See, I don't think we get that over here.
It's the nectar of the gods. I absolutely adore it. So sorry, guys.
You might need to send me some. I think you could send beverages. I sent cans of Solo to people in America before, so you can send liquids. You weren't there at the time, but if you want some Solo, I'll make it happen. I know a guy. That's myself.
I know a guy. I'm starting to I'm having those moments now where I am having those very specific cravings. And the one that I had this week was pizza shapes. I can't even begin to tell you how much I wanted pizza shapes. And I promise you, nothing exists here that tastes like it.
If we weren't recording live right now and I didn't have a hardwired headset in, I'd run straight to the kitchen and run straight back because I've got 2 unopened boxes of pizza shapes in the cupboard. We only muck around with pizza shapes and cheese and bacon shapes in this household. They are the 2 benchmarks for me. And then barbecue's a third, which is still good. I'd eat some barbecue shapes, but pizza and cheese and bacon, top of the pops.
Yeah, I think that's probably where we're sitting over here. I'll make some time for some barbecue. Do they still have the red and green flakes?
Yes, they do. Yeah. Yeah, well, I will. I'm going to get to work on a little care package for you this week, and I'll send you over a heap of Australiana, and see you through the back end of COVID, because you need to be safe out there. You need to be stocked up on your savory treats. So
Great.
Send me a little short list of things you're looking for, and I'll go shopping during the week and send you guys a care package of all the good stuff.
Sounds good. But like I said, I'm going to have to work twice as hard at the gym now, because I can demolish a box of pizza shapes by itself in one sitting.
Get your gym coach to hold sort of the shapes out in front of you as you're on the bike. Like a carrot sort of dangled type of situation.
Sounds good to me.
All right, last discussion on snacks. I found this place through the genius of Instagram marketing. Called Cocoa 88. It's a chocolate store in Sydney. Okay. And they make their own version of a Twix and also of a caramel crown biscuit. And holy shit, I think it's the best chocolate I've ever eaten in my entire life. They charge you exuberant prices, based on the craftsmanship. They probably want to say, it's a very boutique, artisanal chocolate store. But these Twix fingers and these caramel crowns, where they actually put a little bit of sea salt on their caramel crowns, holy fuck, they are the best chocolate bars I think I've ever had in my entire life, hand to heart.
sacrilegious. I love Twix.
Oh, me too.
So to say that they do something like a Twix is like...
I might sneak one of them in there too if you play your cards right. Like they're $4.50 a finger.
We got
things.
Twixy.
Oh,
Twix is
you think
popular.
You got Twix? You wait till you get one of these Cocoa 88s in you.
No, they've got like all different Twix here. They've got like peanut butter Twix. They've got like white chocolate Twix here. They've got dark chocolate Twix here.
The
and
white
same with
chocolate
Kit Kats.
Twixes, we've got them here, and they are my favourites.
Oh, really? I haven't dived into it because it's like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Mm.
So I always just stick to original.
No, try a milk chocolate one next time. But I digress. We'll talk more about this on the upcoming Candy podcast on the 8-Bit Collective coming soon to airwaves and earholes near you. But let's talk about what we've been up to this past week. Obviously, leading up to episode 200, which is pretty exciting. But what was also exciting, been playing some games, and you've sort of knocked the dust off an old classic and one of your favourite games from I'd say it's still this gen. I know we're sort of in this weird transitional stage at the moment, but you've been playing a bit of Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah, and I don't know if you remember, this was like baby stage 8-bit as well when I like first played this game.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so that was free on Game Pass, and I've always had like a soft spot for this game. I always like preach to the, masses on it being just a good game. So it's free on Game Pass, and I thought, why not? Loaded it up. This is a completely different Xbox. It's not my Xbox. So the Xbox Cloud remembered my save.
Hell yeah, it does.
And like,
it's a smart thing, that cloud.
Yeah, well, I posted on Twitter because it remembered my save and it loaded in my character. And there she was, just in her undies, no shoes, standard. So, and all the missions were done. So
that's a bit of a shame. So did you just sort of do a fresh start from there, or did you just sort of cruise around?
I cruised around because I think like at first I had to get my bearings. I had to kind of like remember how to play the game, and I had all these wonderful crazy weapons. The whole map was open and everything brilliant that you earn from completing a game, or essentially completing most of the main missions. And then it was like, I've had a taste of this. I don't know if I can take a step back. I don't know if I can go bare bones again. So I just screwed around in the map and just went through just a killing spree.
It's such a good game, and it's crazy to think now that Insomniac are embedded with Sony. Obviously they were more of a Microsoft house when Sunset Overdrive came out, but now they're the geniuses behind the Spider-Man games, and you can see a lot of the liberties they've taken from Sunset Overdrive as far as the sort of navigation and sort of just the general flow and sort of floatiness and traversal.
Exactly. And I definitely see that connection, just absolute fluid movement throughout a map, and just how everything just flows really well, especially, if you're just, removing yourself from bouncing off a building, and then cars, and then you also grind on the electric wires as well. So I can see how those kind of changing movements from different terrain, different environment translates now into the Spider-Man game. I actually had a friend that said I really want to play that game, Sunset Overdrive. I'm almost done with Spider-Man. I might try it next. I'm like, maybe not, only because Sunset Overdrive was the start of that kind of movement, and then it only improved with Spider-Man, so it might be a bit of a it might feel shitty.
Yeah.
Degrading.
Yeah, I get that, but it's cool to see, where they were off the back of, I think they finished Resistance 3 and then sort of pivoted into Sunset Overdrive, and obviously last year got acquired by SIE, so they're part of the Sony family forever now, or at least for the next several years, doing exclusive things there. But
I don't think Sony will let them go.
No way, no, especially with having that Spider-Man license, that is a license to print money.
Oh yeah,
they could be churning out these little sort of spin-offs and sort of small pseudo singular experiences like they're doing with Miles Morales later this year, from now until Kingdom Come, and people will be rocking up day one and buying copy after copy after copy. And there's so much they can do with that franchise, so I'm extremely excited because they're a very talented studio, and it was Sunset really started to sort of put them back on the map with them big open world adventures. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I haven't played it in a good long time.
Yeah, like I can't even actually remember the last time I played it. I think I played it between the point of its release and now, but like it still like it felt familiar, but I really had to like relearn the like controls and mapping, everything like that. So, but it was good. It's a really good game to just kind of just jump into and just create chaos and just screw around.
Yeah,
So.
I still love that the game sort of resonates with me. Is don't drink energy drinks. You know, they're the devil. You know, they turn you into evil mutants. Don't drink energy drinks. They're bad for you.
Nah, they're
Was it
fine.
Fizco, I think?
Fizco, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
I just remember the stupid little mascot for it, his little hat. So, but yeah, it was good. It was one thing I thought I remembered the soundtrack being really good, but then playing the game, I was like, I don't think it changed.
Oh,
so I don't know. I've got to rehash that. I always remember the soundtrack being pretty decent, but then I felt like I only heard the same song over and over again. So
maybe because it's been out for 5 years now. Well, like 6 in October. Maybe there's just some licensing's lapsed on songs, so they've had to pull them from it. I don't know.
Oh, that could be it. Maybe that's a possibility. It's a shame because I'm a big believer on music being a very important part of the gaming experience. But oh well.
Yeah. Is what it is.
Well.
Yeah. Playing some more Destiny 2?
Of course I have. Lucky for me, a lot of this new content is actually surrounded around the mode Gambit, which is like, essentially like a horde mode where you kill enemies, collect motes, and then deposit them to, generate the final big boss, but you're also competing against another team doing the exact same thing. So, and then there's moments where, one person from each team could go in and, kill people and set people back. And I just love that mode.
It is hectic. It is so intense because, as you said, you're not only worrying about the sort of computer generated enemies coming out and wrecking your shit, but then you've got sort of 3 other guardians that ghost their way in from time to time and also wreck your shit. Like it is tense.
And it's like there's this like level of like I don't like doing voice chat with strangers. I've learnt my lesson years and years and years ago just not to dive into there. So there's like this like unspoken kind of like communication of like what your team should be doing. And it's taken me a while, but now I've established myself as I will go around and I will kill every like little, monster minion creature that comes out. So when they drop the motes that need to be deposited, the rest of my team, they can pick it up and they can worry about that. And I'll just take care of everyone. And now I'm actually really happy. I've gotten to the stage now that I'm also like defender. So if someone from the opposing team comes in, I'm just like, I just charge at them and take care of them now. And I'm just like, oh, I love seeing like my experience like evolve in this game just through continually playing, getting better, getting new weapons and everything like that. So I'm really, really enjoying it.
You've just become like this frontline assault queen. Just sort of leading from the front, kicking in skulls left, right and center. It's good to see.
Yeah, I used to be like a safety banker. I was more the person that was like, oh, I'll grab the motes and just bank them. Like, I'll just make sure we get the, those points. But now it's good to be like frontline, just like, killing everyone and just being like, go, go, go. So, yeah, I'm absolutely having a ball right now with Destiny 2 and it just makes me so happy that I'm having fun.
Yeah, I'm keen to get back into some more Destiny 2 and yeah, they do it. They do their little highlight reels and sort of focusing on upcoming expansions really well to get that excitement and that energy back into players. And I'm looking forward to that next expansion in September, if I remember right, sort of middle to end of September, I think it drops. So I've still got a bit of time. I might sort of try and dabble between now and then a little bit, but maybe I'm just going to wait until that next big chunk of content drops. Because, yeah, I've been still embedded in a similar yet different shooter. I've been playing more Apex on PlayStation 4. Still loving life. We'll talk about that a little bit more regarding EA Play that was streamed live just yesterday. So, yeah, still enjoying my time with that. Pivoted back to Lifeline, back to my sort of comfort food character that I play. Enjoyed my time with Loba, but I think Lifeline just fits a team build up a little bit better with the, obviously her L1 ability with the little heal bot and being able to sort of res people quicker and have your little shield pop up and whatever else.
Yeah.
So back on the Lifeline train. Loba, you've been a fun ride, but just still haven't perfected the art of the thief assassin yet. But it's still good. But something else that's pretty bloody good. Been playing through The Last of Us Part 2 this week. Obviously, PlayStation exclusive. And my goodness, I'm not going to go too deep today because we've already talked about doing a full review / spoiler cast next week sometime. But holy moly, this game goes right for the jugular and right for the emotions. And yeah, it makes you feel things that not many games I've played can make you feel, and make you feel these ways regularly. Like, it's not just one big moment. It's like constant gut punches coupled with this beautiful moment in time where you're sort of smiling and genuinely happy for these characters, and then the dread comes back in, and the sadness and the stress and all these emotions just in a blender. And yeah, Naughty Dog have knocked this out of the park. I love what they've done with it. I love how they've sort of jumped the story 5 years ahead from the setting of the original Last of Us. Joel and Ellie are back. The voice acting is fantastic. The motion capture work is brilliant. There's a good diverse range of enemies and ways to deal with the enemies. Like, the combat is still that same very visceral, very realistic way of dealing with infected or humans and things like that. And it makes you feel every action. Like, yeah, you do mow down a few people with guns and stuff, but they don't glorify any of that like some shooters do. Like, everything seems to carry a weight to it, and then that weight almost carries you through the game. And there's times where I had to sort of genuinely take a break because I was just like in this sense of, holy fuck, I'm feeling pretty down right now. Like, from playing this game, like, not bad towards the game, but just the emotional blanket this thing throws over you. I'm like, I'm gonna go play with the dogs for a bit. I'm gonna go walk around the house or step outside and take a minute to readjust my thoughts and feelings, because yeah, it's sort of just like foot on your neck at times, and it's a testament to everyone involved. I've been loving my time with it. I know you've been sort of watching a fair amount of content online about it, so what's been your feelings? Obviously you aren't on the controller steering these characters through this journey, but you're watching it through another set of eyes. What have you been feeling about it?
It's very bleak. It is like which is the general consensus. I think there's no misunderstanding of that this is a very bleak game. Like based on environment, story, and everything that's going on around you. So like, that's conveyed like within the story, and just like it's all the environment. Like, from everything that I've seen, for the most part, it's very dark, very dingy and dirty and everything for the most part. So I guess that can weigh on you a lot. I mean, like, everyone knows that I'm not really invested in the series, hence why I just went ahead and just, took in the content through like Twitch streams, YouTube, and everything like that, because I'm genuinely interested. This is a very significant game for, our generation, and as well for like, also this year for 2020, which being a very glum game at this time is probably not the greatest, because I know everyone out there is probably already on a very exhausted, like, mentally, emotionally, especially just with all current events right now. But yeah, like, I know that I was never going to play this game. Watching people play it, watching it secondhand, I still have no desire to play this game. There are a few moments where I thought graphically it's very gorgeous. It's a very good looking game, but yeah, for the most part, for me, it just looks too heavy, too emotionally heavy, so
yeah, boy howdy, like this franchise obviously has had its fair share of big moments where they are just massive emotional haymakers, and they come at you in this as well. Like, I'm not going to go into into spoiler territory here. As I said, we're going to do a bit of a deep dive later next week on that one, but just a testament to everybody involved. Like, the game has got polish in every aspect, and yeah, as you said, graphically, I like that there's this contrast between rundown, decrepit, destroyed, infected America, and then there's these real beautiful scenes like in the opening few hours, just sort of walking around, you know, snow-capped Wyoming and stuff like that, and just traversing these snow-capped environments. Just little things like just seeing the way you move through the snow, and how it moves to how it sort of adjusts to your footing and things, and seeing some of these big vistas and the big views of the towns and all these big spruce trees and things like that. It's really gorgeous. And then you chuck this just harsh reality over the top with stealth kills and feeling like there's a chance you're going to die just about every step you take is the big thing. Like, as you said, there's just this constant sense of dread in this game. You do get some nice shining moments as well, but yeah, there's not many games I've played over the years that make you feel the way this game makes you feel from the opening credits through. And obviously with the way the original Last of Us started, it started on a very big note with a massive big emotional punch, and they're sort of following similar beats with this. But yeah, it is phenomenal. Anyone that's looking for a game to sink 20 plus hours into, with some great writing, with some great graphical fidelity, with some pretty scary enemies and gory combat and good stealth mechanics, good survival horror, this is something for you. Like, everyone out there that's a gamer would know of this franchise, and I'm assuming would have at least experienced it secondhand through somebody else. Make sure it's on your radar. But it's phenomenal. But as you said, like, I think maybe the current global climate maybe makes the themes and the dread in this game magnified again, because a lot of people are already on tenterhooks with COVID and the BLM situation, and then even the bushfires from Australia. Like, it's been a very tough 6 months for people emotionally, mentally, physically, and obviously many years beyond that for sort of some of those broader topics I just mentioned. But yeah, this game is something. It's going to be up there as far as Game of the Year awards. You can see the reviews coming in, and it's just about universal praise, and very, very, very highly touted by every major media outlet. But oh my God, it's so good. But my emotions, like, insert that Troy Barnes from Community gif right here. And he's like, my emotion. That's me.
Yeah,
that's me playing this game. Holy shit.
I based on like what I've witnessed, if you're going to play it, and maybe have a few sessions, but just make sure you have like maybe a palate cleanser afterwards. So maybe like light up the, you know, Animal Crossing or, you know, something else to just after, because I wouldn't want to play that for hours and then maybe go to bed. Yeah, which is what I did last night again. And did you?
Yeah, probably not the best idea. Had some weird ass dreams, but
fucked
anyway.
Up dreams,
Yeah, but that's me. But yeah, we're going to have a full review and spoiler cast drop sometime in the next week or so. And we will be going deep on that. We will break it up where it'll be non-spoiler centric sort of review to start, and then deep dive on there. But it'll be dropping on the Hungry Gamers RSS feed sometime next week. But I guess a quick little bit of housekeeping. Obviously, 8bit.net is the main hub, but if you want to sort of go specific, shop8bit.net is the direct link to our web store. 8bitnation.net is a good little hub that's going to have also direct links to the web store, to the Patreon, to the Discord, all those more community-centric hubs and things, straight available there from 8bitnation.net. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe us and all the other podcasts on the hashtag via iTunes, Spotify, whatever your podcast player of choice is, because those ratings and reviews help keep the emotional lights on in our hearts. Shout out to our listeners also in Ecuador. Don't know how you've discovered us over there in the Spotify charts, but we appreciate you. And also just the global reach. Like, we're tracking really well on Chartable, and our global reach under the leisure category have us as the 189th largest podcast in the world under leisure. So that encompasses video games, hobbies, games, and a couple other things. So that's really, really touching, I think, for us. Like, obviously the charts, it is still a little bit of unknown secret source that compiles all this data, but it's still really nice to see us tracking there. So listeners, we couldn't obviously have done any of that without you. So we feel you, and you're pretty fantastic. But once you're done checking out all our 8-bit centric stuff, Obviously, Audio-Technica, audiotechnica.com.au is the hub to get the best in audio-based equipment. We're talking headphones, microphones, gaming headsets, turntables. You want in-ear, you want over-ear, you want noise cancellation, you want Bluetooth. They've got it all. Just head over to audiotechnica.com or audiotechnica.com.au. Get yourself some sweet, sweet gear and start podcasting and start streaming. Even just start listening to us in the best way ever because, their gear is the bee's knees. But yeah, that's about it. Should we jump into some news?
Let's do it.
This week's news headlines.
All right. The first piece of news today, I've titled Say Cheese with Pokemon. Yes, listeners, fans of Pokemon, you no doubt would have seen a little announcement or two that popped up this past week. Pokemon Snap is on its way. So we're getting a new version of the classic Nintendo 64 Pokemon photography game, which was announced this past week on the Nintendo Switch. The game is currently in development for said platform and is listed as coming soon. So we don't know if it's going to be dropping by the end of 2020 or if it's going to slip into 2021 or beyond. But yeah, this this was the final announcements in the Pokemon Presents broadcast. The game is being developed by Bandai Namco. And here's a little short description from the Pokemon Company. The new Pokemon Snap game for the Nintendo Switch system is based on its namesake, which was first released for the Nintendo 64 console in 1999. This game will take trainers on an adventure to unknown islands overflowing with natural sights such as jungles and beaches, where they can research various Pokemon in their natural habitats. They'll take photos to make their very own in-game Pokemon photo decks, all while discovering new, never-before-seen Pokemon expressions and behaviors. On the back of that, we got also the fact that Mega Evolutions are going to be making their way to Pokemon Go. We also learnt about Pokemon Cafe Mix, which is a free-to-start puzzle game. And lastly, we also got Pokemon Smile, which is a free app to help toothbrushing. What did you think about this Pokemon Presents? We've got another one coming June 24th, which is going to showcase another major Pokemon project. So this is like the week of The Last of Us 2 and the week of Pokemon. Are you a big Pokemon Snap gal?
First of all, I knew that there was this event going to happen, and I never sleep in, ever. The one time I sleep in, and I was like, oh shit, and I woke up to Pokemon Snap, everyone just filling my timeline with Pokemon Snap. Now I'm going to be a negative Nelly. Pokemon Snap was fun when I was a kid, but from what I remember and what I think I saw in the trailer, you're still stuck on track.
Rails? Yeah, I think so too. I didn't dive any deeper than what I saw on the trailer. So listeners, if you have gone into the deep web and saw that there is free roamability, come in and correct us on the socials at We're 8-Bit. But yeah, that's what I saw too. And I'm like, oh, okay. More of the same.
If it was free roam, which I kind of thought they would do, I would probably be a bit more excited because, imagine walking around, adventuring on that kind of scale and then taking photos would be more fun. But now, even though I say that, I'm like, but you can take photos on your Pokemon Go and you can take photos in Sword and Shield. So, I don't know. I don't know what I'd be expecting from a Pokemon Snap where I would be super excited about it. Is it just down nostalgia point that we're excited that we're just going to get a revamp of it? When was the last time you played Pokemon Snap?
Probably 1999.
It's probably same.
It was a great concept. And as you said, I think it was big because Pokemon was in the back end of the 90s. It was peak Pokemon hysteria. Don't get me wrong. It's still a massive franchise and a juggernaut today, but at least for our generation, we were sort of early teens, late teens, whatever it might have been for us all out there. But this was the game that was on everyone's lips and transitioning from playing it on a Game Boy to getting some Nintendo 64. If this was a Pokemon Stadium event, I'd be all over that. But I don't know if I want to invest some good money, no doubt, to buy this game. No doubt it'll probably be full purchase price type of situation. But you can take great photos on your Switch already. Yeah, sure, you don't have all the expressions, especially never before seen expressions and behaviors. But how long is that going to last?
Yeah, I don't want to shit in anyone's cereal, but I was just really trying to think logically about me picking up this game and the longevity in me playing it and me actually finding the replayability in it as well. Like, I don't know, they'll obviously have something in it. So, you have to log back in and, complete this task and complete that task. But just for me, it's not, I'm not getting the hype factor that everyone else is, which they, if you're excited for this game, cool, that's awesome. But for me, I think I'm just putting like a stark realization of like, yeah, it was fun then. Or was it? Like, it was funnish then, maybe because we weren't oversaturated with content. So I'm having that kind of like, yeah, I could play it, or I could just play something else, I don't know.
And I'm in the camp with you. Like, it's awesome to see. And yeah, waking up to these announcements, the Twitter feeds for our respective, gamer friends was popping off. Like, everyone was like, oh my God, Pokemon Snap, like, man. And I'm just like, I'm happy for you, but I'm not in the same boat as you. Like, the game was fun and I had a good time with it, but yeah, I don't think this is a day one sort of purchase for me. One thing I think that could maybe work is if they try and almost incorporate some of that mixed reality into it, where Nintendo Labo, they tried to do some entry-level VR stuff. Maybe weave that in there where you could take some photos with little Pokemon Labo kit type of thing to make it a little bit more immersive. Yeah. Because as you said, you can take pretty damn good photos already on a Switch through Sword and Shield with no issue. You might not have the expressions and behaviors, but that's enough for me.
On Pokemon Go, you can literally put your Pokemon in your bedroom and take a photo with a friend, or even like get someone to take a photo with your Pokemon, in your, that sounds really, why does that sound really gross now when I say it like that? But like, in the street or in, your kitchen or whatever, like you can actually have it there. I don't know. Like, yeah. Why am I not so hype? That's
like what level of depth is this going to give you more than putting a cool hat on a Pokemon in Sword and Shield and taking photos? Like, is it going to be that big a jump to get that much more excitement and enjoyment? Like, as you said, I don't want to poo-poo on it too much, but it's just, yeah, it didn't really move the needle massively for me. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I appreciate that. And it's cool they're going back to that well. And, 21 years since this thing initially dropped, like that's great. I thought the Pokemon Smile thing, like typical quirky Nintendo, but I also thought, if this is going to help kids brush their teeth the right way and for the right amount of time, awesome. Because I see kids brush their teeth and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They'll swoosh around a brush as if they're casting a spell for 5 seconds and then they're done. Like, so if this is going to help get them chompers clean, I'm all about it.
I don't even know if I brush my teeth properly. So maybe I'm gonna I just wanted to download the app because I actually wanted to see what it was like. I've seen a few people who have downloaded it and used it, so I just think just for shits and giggles, I might download it and see what it's like.
Yeah. Yeah. And then obviously, we've got another Pokemon Presents rolling into town next week. So June the 24th, it's going to be close. Occurring. Yeah. So literally 4 days time from now, or probably 25th here for us Aussie and NZ listeners. But it's going to contain news of another major Pokemon project. What do you think? Like, there's rumors that it's going to be another sort of Pokemon Go iteration with one of the previous gens. That's from what I've seen around the traps, but what do you think it's going to be? We're going to get Pokemon Stadium?
We're going to get Pokemon Wipe. It's going to be kids wiping their
front to back. Front to back. Just as long as I don't hear any Squirtle squirts, then it'll get a bit messy.
Oh, no. I don't know what the actual game is.
Pokemon Wipe.
Pokemon Wipe. Oh no, because they use a camera too. Maybe Stadium. Let's go with Stadium.
Yeah, it's a little bit more family friendly. Yeah. All right, so moving on. The next sort of bit of news I wanted to highlight is the itch.io bundle for racial justice and equality ended this past week, and they raised a stunning number of $8.1 million, and that's in USD, so that's about 55 million Australian. Actually, with our dollar right now, I sort of retract that statement. It's probably about 11 million Australian, which is phenomenal in itself. But this comes via way of Wesley Yin Poole at Eurogamer. The itch.io bundle for racial justice and equality has been a stunning success, raising $8.1 million for funds supporting the Black Lives Matter movement. The bundle, which contained more than 1,700 games donated by their creators, was bought by over 810,000 people, raising $8 million, well over its $5 million target. The average contribution was $10.30. The top contribution was $5,000. The itch.io bundle for racial justice and equality was widely considered to be the best value bundle in video game history, not just because it had so many games included, but because of the quality of some of the games included, including indie darlings Night in the Woods, Overland, Minute, Oxenfree, Celeste, Super Hexagon, A Short Hike, and 2064 Read-Only Memories, which were all donated by their respective developers. We live in a time of racial injustice, inequality, and police brutality against black people, itch.io said in a statement. We hope that everyone takes a stand in any way they can. We've partnered with creators from all across our platform to support organizations that are working directly with those affected. The money raised will now be split 50-50 between the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund and Community Bail Fund. So kudos to everybody involved, developers, publishers, PR, as well as itch.io and the people working behind the scenes to make this thing happen. 1,700 games for, as they said, an average of $10.30 to get 1,700 games. Like, my goodness gracious, but this is a great little bit of light in the darkness at the moment.
Oh, I'm so mad that I didn't get it. I was like, I had it lined up to get it, and then I think I just got distracted. There was some great games in this. Like, there was some really awesome games. Like, I think even one game they proved was like worth $10, just one, and you were getting 1,700 games in there to select from. Like, there was obviously a few like, you know, like easygoing indies, you know, but then there were like other ones that were just like massive titles. I mean, freaking Celeste was in there and Night in the Woods was in there. Like, these are great games, and I'm just angry that I missed out, but it's an amazing effort on how much they raised.
100%. Like, it's phenomenal, and I'm with you. Like, I feel a bit shitty towards myself because I had full intention to get behind this and throw some money on the back of this bundle, but I missed the boat as well. I thought this thing was running for longer, to be completely honest. I thought it was going till the end of this month, and then I rolled onto the website to pick it up, and it was closed off. So that's on me. I'll take ownership of that. But for everyone that did throw some money behind it, well done, because over $8 million to be split amongst two charities, phenomenal work. So kudos again to everybody involved. If you wanted to try and throw a little bit of support as well, obviously there is tons of charities available that you can get some money thrown towards, or you can just take some time to educate yourself on some of the proceedings occurring both in the United States, here in Australia, and around the rest of the world. There's a lot of bad shit going on, so just beware. I'm not going to say stay woke, because I think those types of statements, they're not in my vocabulary, but just take the time to do the research and discover the truths, and throw your support behind them on your social medias with monetary donations, whatever you can do. Just be better, I think, is the best way to sort of live the lives that we preach about. Mm-hmm. So but no, itch.io, hell of an effort, and kudos again to everybody involved. That was phenomenal. Big high fives.
I've also heard people call it Itch.io. Itch.io,
yeah. I was calling it that for a while, but most of those .io games, I always usually call them, Slither.io instead of Slitherio and things. So
good point. Good point.
But I don't know. I haven't gone into the depths to get complete confirmation, but itch.io is how I've always pronounced it. But internet, come at me if I'm wrong. I'm ready for you with hugs from an appropriate distance. So the next little bit of news, Cyberpunk 2077 delayed again till November. And this comes via way of Matt Wales at Eurogamer. Cyberpunk 2077 has been delayed again and will now come out and now come to Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC on the 19th of November. This marks the second delay for CD Projekt's highly anticipated open-world cyber thriller. It was initially due to arrive this past April, but saw its launch postponed to September 17th in order to give the developer the, in quotes, precious months we need to make the game perfect, in quotes. In a new statement announcing the game's freshly revised release date of 19th of November, CD Projekt wrote, "Those of you who are familiar with the way we make games know that we won't ship something which is not ready. Ready when it's done is not just a phrase we say because it sounds right, it's something we live by, even when we know we'll take the heat for it. At the same time, we are fully aware that making such a decision costs us your trust, and trading trust for additional time is one of the hardest decisions a game developer can make. And despite that, we think it's the right decision for the game. We'd still like to apologize for making you wait longer. Our intention is to make Cyberpunk 2077 something that will stay with you for years to come. In the end, we hope you understand why we did what we did." According to the developer, Cyberpunk 2077 is now finished as far as content and gameplay goes, with quests, cutscenes, skills, items, and all the adventures Night City has to offer all there. But with such an abundance of content and complex systems interweaving with each other, CD Projekt explained, we need to properly go through everything, balance game mechanics, and fix a lot of bugs. A huge world means a huge number of things to iron out, and we'll spend the additional time doing exactly that. The developer also offered a reminder that its postponed Night City Wire livestream will air next week, Thursday, 25th of June, or 26th of June for here in the AU, and that press previews will follow immediately after. We hope this will satisfy some of your hunger, it concluded, as we work to polish it for November launch. So the second Cyberpunk 2077 delay for 2020.
Is that true? Like, it's only the second delay? Why do I feel like they delayed it before? Or was it just we didn't hear anything?
We just didn't hear anything for many, many, many years. And then, April was the trigger time because it was falling in sort of a release cycle of Resident Evil, Final Fantasy, and Cyberpunk. They were all coming out within the span of like 3 weeks. And yeah, it was game apocalypse. It was sort of circulating around, but yeah, shifted to September and now has just pushed back another 2 months to November. I got no issues with this. Where you at?
Me either. I'm not too fussed about like when this one gets released. This is actually one that I'm interested of all the major titles that, we've been waiting for, anticipating. This is actually one that I do want to play. But yeah, the delay doesn't bother me so much. I've got 1,000,001 other games that I need to play, finish, or, start. So yeah, the pushback doesn't bother me so much. Is this, like, I've heard people speculate that they're trying to line this up with the new gen console, but a lot of people have also said that the like PlayStation 5 version and the new Xbox version won't be ready for, the new console's release.
Yeah, I'm very curious with if there is some sort of marketing ploy in the back end of this sort of decision. Like, it sounds like I'm believing what they're putting out in this press release as far as why they're pushing the delay back, as far as just doing final polish. Like, the last thing we want is another big open world game riddled with bugs and clipping issues and whatever else. Like, we want the full experience from day one. We don't want a giant ass patch to come out a week later fixing all these problems that we've been screaming about. So I'm with them, and knowing the care and attention to detail they had with things like The Witcher, these games are going to come out fully realized and complete and with a arse load of polish. So I got no issue, but like agreeing with you as well, I think maybe there is a little bit of this could then be a pseudo launch title for next gen, or like maybe that's what they're trying to push towards. But they did mention in this sort of release will now come to Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and PC on the 19th of November. You'd envision PlayStation 5 and Series X to be out by then as well. I'm assuming tail end of October, sometime in November would be those official release cycles. So then they've got a month to build that hype to Christmas to try and spike them sales.
Yeah.
And if I could buy an Xbox Series X or a PlayStation 5 with Cyberpunk at launch, hell to the yeah, but I'm wondering if it is going to be a few months behind. Maybe the release will follow in after the Christmas break if they can't get it up to par in time. But I don't know. I'm keen as a bean for this. I'm with you. This is one of my most anticipated of this year.
Yeah. I mean, like, when it comes to this kind of like delay thing, I hate to say it, but the like kind of delay is like expected now with our AAA titles. So I mean, not too shocked. Not too surprised, and especially the climate we're in right now, having developers having to work from home. So, yeah, do whatever has to be done.
100 1,000,000%. I'm with you. But yeah, November is when we're going to get some Cyberpunk now. So yeah, November 19th. So put that in your calendars. Just move it a couple of months down the line from that September release. But it's coming, and it's still in 2020. At least it hasn't been like delayed indefinitely. You know, at least they've given us a concrete date. So I'm happy with that. And I was also reasonably happy with the last bit of news we're going to cover off. And we're sort of going to recap EA Play 2020. So this was a live stream that was broadcast on Friday morning here in Australia, or various times on Thursday evening, afternoon around the rest of the world. It was nice, I've got to say, to be able to watch a live stream at 9 a.m. as opposed to getting up at 6 or some other ungodly hour. Yeah, it was fantastic to actually get a normal sleep and get up and check this thing out. So the show began. We got a couple of minutes from CEO Andrew Wilson. Wilson is obviously an expat Australian. He started by thanking first responders around the world for their response to the Australian bushfires, COVID-19, and everything else that has occurred since then. He also outlined a brief version of the company's response to Black Lives Matter, reinforcing EA's approach to diversity and representation in their games. And then from there, we jumped into games. We had Greg Miller hosting EA Play 2020 with much praise about his new fashion sense. He was looking pretty styling, the old Game Over Greggy.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's his lovely wife, Jen. Ever since they've been together, he's eating amazingly. He's dressing all snappy. He's got the gentleman vibe, the gentleman gamer. So, yeah. See, I did see a lot of remarks on everyone wanting to know where he got his shirt from.
It was a really nice flanny, I got to say. It was really nice. I was a fan. You know, I'm a big flanny advocate since I could walk. I've been rolling flannies, and I don't think I've ever owned one that stylish looking. So, yeah, I've got some inspiration there, I guess, from that one. But yeah, so it was a conference that ran for around 45-ish minutes from front to back. They didn't show an absolute bucket load of games. There was only really sort of 8 games specifically highlighted, and then they had some tech demo sizzle hype on the back of that as well. Did you want to sort of maybe mention a few that got you excited, or ones that were of interest to yourself? Where do you want to take this?
Yeah. Well, look, I'm going to be honest. I missed the event. I think because it was around my lunchtime, I didn't watch it. So I did miss it. So I had to catch up on what everyone kind of mentioned. So I did dive through, did a quick watch, and then rewatch things that actually took my interest. Apex Legends on the Switch. Makes sense. Curious how well it will play.
Yeah, I think them graphics are going to get scaled back rather substantially. But yeah, Apex Legends on the Switch, but also Apex Legends on the Switch playing with friends on the PlayStation, the Xbox, the PC. Ooh, baby. Cross-platform Apex. That was just about my highlight of all of EA Play. Just knowing that I can go back to my Xbox One, play on my Elite controller, park my PlayStation, and play with all my friends on every platform. Chef's kisses all day.
First of all, as a PC player versus someone on the Switch, I don't know, man. That just sounds a bit crazy to me. But my controls, everyone's Switch has drift, or I know my Switch now has very delicate buttons. Sometimes it kind of locks up, or sometimes it tells me that no, we're going left, even though you wanted to go up. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to play. Like we said, graphically, I don't know what it's going to look like, but I do like the idea of just being able to lay on the couch, go outside, or even just lay in bed and play Apex. So
yeah, I think if I'm playing Apex on the Switch and trying to be semi-competitive on it, I'd be playing it docked with a Pro controller. 1,000,000%. That's how I'd be playing it. Just knowing the amount of things that occur in your peripherals playing that game at any given time, and trying to translate that on a little screen in front of your face as opposed to a big telly. It's awesome that you can play it on the go, but yeah, I think you're going to get the full experience docked, because you're going to get a little bit more processing out of the thing in a docked mode, and a wired connection then too, as opposed to wireless. So yeah, but hell yeah, more Apex. And they're even announced some additional expansions. So in 3 this next week is just so many releases in this sort of calendar week of last week and next. Like June 23rd, there's the next part of Season 5 called Armed and Dangerous Evolved coming out, which gives you sniper shotty mode only. There's also a mobile respawn beacon thing I thought was pretty freaking cool. So being able to have one of them in your backpack to respawn your downed players in an area that suits as opposed to the common respawn zones. But also I noticed too, some of there's new skins which looked phenomenal, especially the God, I'm having a mental blank now. The robot assassin guy's name, Revenant. His skin and Wraith's skin, holy guacamole, they look phenomenal. But one thing I noticed too is, I don't know if you saw it, like sort of going full circle to me maining Lifeline again. I noticed one of like her ultimate had changed where, or not her ultimate had changed, so where she's picking up a downed player, but she's got her little like robot support bot reviving the down player, and she's still off shooting. Instead of having to stand over the person and do it manually, like it almost looked like you dropped your little robot to do that, and then you could still keep attacking. I thought that was really cool, because that's one thing when you're downing, like picking up down players, you are a static target then and there. So if you can get your bot to keep doing it and you can keep staying in the fight, I think that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I was a bit confused, but yeah, you use the bot to heal your players on the move, so you can keep shooting. But yeah, when it comes to actually reviving, she's sitting there patting you down. Yeah. But if you can now shift that where your bot does that and you keep attacking, hell yeah, that'd have a great new wrinkle to the game. So I'm hyped for that. One of the things that got me intrigued was Lost in Random, which was the new game from Zoink Games. And that's the studio behind Faye. It looked like a reimagining of Tim Burton's Mind. It looked like Nightmare Before Christmas and Corpse Bride and all those types of worlds just reimagined in this game. And you play as the character named Even and her sidekick Dicey, where you can sort of use Dicey to play the odds and break the curse, as the quote that they're throwing around. So you can sort of almost roll for changing certain things in combat or in story, which I thought was kind of cool. Like they didn't show a ton of the game, but it looked very quirky, very Tim Burton-esque. And I was like, that was kind of cool. Yeah, like I can see your Tim Burton vibe. I can definitely see that. Probably not for me, but it did look cute.
Yeah,
a little dicey.
Yeah. What about you? Anything else? Anything else? Get the motor running.
Star Wars Squadrons.
Yes.
God, like I liked this. Like they started off the week with like a sneaky little quick trailer cinematic, which got everyone pissed off. You could cinematic. Where's my gameplay? And then we actually got to see gameplay, and it looks gorgeous. Also seeing like the combination of like, you know, story mode and seeing everything going on there, and then being able to see actually gameplay where you're sitting in the cockpit and just seeing the whole interface around it, and it just looks incredible. And then the apps, like just the environment and seeing the space and the detail, and it's just beautiful. It is absolutely gorgeous. Now, as a kid, I used to play like the old like Star Wars games, and like I only think I played it because it was like maybe like one of the games that we actually had installed on the PC where, you know, like there was like a disc available. So I didn't it wasn't my favorite game to play, but I played it because it was there. So I would always get lost because, you know, you could fly up, down, all around, and everything essentially kind of looked the same, like in a space of black. So just seeing now the detail, the asteroids, the space, the other ships, like it just looks so beautiful. And then like hearing that it's going to be available on VR. Yeah,
like I played that Star Wars VR demo on PlayStation 4, and yeah, you are piloting ships and things, and it is a journey, and it is so fun, and just that next level of immersion. So playing something like this would be phenomenal. I wonder if you would get a little bit of motion sickness when you are barrel rolling and things like that in the game, but I love that they've sort of at least provided that as an option. It's awesome because this game's coming out at the start of October. We don't have to wait too long. It's the 2nd of October this game comes out with full crossplay. So PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC can all have their little space dog fights together. what you were saying, like there's a single player experience and a multiplayer experience. So
Yep.
you can play this campaign where you jump between a New Republic pilot and an Imperial pilot, and you sort of in squads of 5 on both. So you can be part of the Vanguard and Titan squadrons, which is cool. So you're going to get your own singular experience. And then with multiplayer, there's a 5v5 dogfight. And then the signature mode they're calling Fleet Battles. And it's sort of multiple phases, and it begins in a social hub that allows for strategic planning. And then players will enter a battle that begins with a dogfight in the middle of the map. It then transitions to one of the teams attacking the enemy's medium-sized capital ship before finally taking the battle to the enemy's flagships. So it's
look incredible.
Oh my god,
like,
it did.
It shows you like how close like getting to those ships and just details like that. And the pricing for this game too is they're not pricing it as like a fully like AAA game. Like I think the pricing that I heard for the US was like $44 or something.
Yeah, so about 60 Australian or something, which is brilliant. I immediately thought this game could become like a little esports hit, 5v5 dogfight or something. I think that could be really cool to see. Obviously, with the Star Wars name, it would lend itself to immediate eyes on the product. So we'll see if they try and weave that into some type of esports title. But it looks so good, and I like that there was, I can't remember, it was 8 or 10 different ships, but there was a whole host of different options depending on if you wanted to be more of just your sort of fast pilot or like a bomber and things like that, or a support ship as well, where you can be sending weapon supplies and healing items to your squad mates. So I like that there's different roles you can play as opposed to just all trying to be, red leader or something like that. So and then the customization. The more you play the game, you can paint your ships different color and customize them with a ton of different options.
You as a player as well.
Yeah.
It's like, you don't have to be human.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can be any race, well, maybe not any, but an assortment of races from within Star Wars. And then there's no microtransactions. So you unlock everything during your experience playing the game. It's looked so good, though. It was gorgeous. Gorgeous.
So happy with it. It was definitely it's probably my highlight.
I'm with you.
Isn't much to say against 8 titles.
Yeah, like I do feel bad for EA with the leak of this thing occurring, so they had to get that trailer out off the back of that leak, because it would have been awesome if this was just completely out of left field mic drop moment type of thing during the conference, but it still had a ton of impact. A couple other games, like we had Joseph Fares rocking up on and highlighting his new game, It Takes Two. Obviously, he's the head of Hazelight, and most recently did Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, and then A Way Out was their most recent title. Obviously, he was known for getting up at the Game Awards and telling the Oscars to get fucked. So, they certainly emphasize that a bit, and he's not shy to dropping the F-bombs during this. But the announcement itself, it didn't show gameplay. It talked about you're playing through as a child where your two parents are going through a divorce, and you create imaginary versions of them, and it was clay and wood, I think was the other one, the two characters that were made out of that. So there's going to be some co-op dynamics in this game, similarly to what we've seen in those other titles that they've done at Hazelight. But I think it was just more so of a highlight piece of Joseph himself, because he's a very larger than life character. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, he's definitely set himself in the gaming atmosphere.
Yeah, but then we saw Rocket Arena, a 3v3 rocket game. I was like, yeah, okay. Over, what's it called? Fortnite with rockets only or something. It looked quirky. But Star Wars, Apex Legends with those announcements for that crossplay drop. And then they ended, they did show some next-gen teasers of Dragon Age, Battlefield, and Need for Speed, of how they'd look on the PlayStation 5, Series X, or high-end gaming PCs, which is kind of cool, but I thought they'd give us a trailer or something on those, as opposed to some sexy stills or a little bit of B-roll. But they ended with Kuz Parry and Darren Chung getting on stage and announcing a new skate game, but sort of that's it. Like, no gameplay. It was just them going, man, all the comments made this game occur, and we've got it. It's in early development. It's coming sometime soon. But I was like, what the fuck you guys been doing for so long? Show us something. What is happening? But I don't know. Like, Skate was a great game, but I think like it was always to me Tony Hawk's poor cousin.
Yeah. This is like another case of Pokemon Snap where everyone's like, yes, Skate 4, yes. And I'm just sitting back going, but we already got told we're getting Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Why, like,
yeah.
That's the good one.
Yeah, and Skatebird and Skater XL, like there's just this renaissance of skateboarding games, and
I saw your post equivalating to zombie titles. And I'm like, you don't need no like stick. You've got a reach that's far.
And that's what I felt like. I'm like, this is cool, and I know plenty of people in our circles that went bananas on this announcement and have been talking about a new skate for many years. But I'm like, okay.
Do you, like, I hate to say this, do you reckon it's a generational thing? Like, we grew up with Tony Hawk's, like that was our OG kind of thing, and then there's like maybe this generation that like are probably, well, let's just say 4 years younger, 4 to 5 years younger than us, and maybe they grew up with Skate. I don't know. Like, yeah,
I can see that. Like, I know Skate tried to pride itself on being more realistic, like the mechanics and things, that was trying to be like the ultimate skateboarding simulator, to steal paraphrase from Gran Turismo there. But I don't know, like I enjoyed my time with it, but it's another one, like as you said, comparing it to the hype behind Pokemon Snap, I'm just like, yeah, okay, cool. It's going to be clustered in with a handful of other skate games coming out. With Tony Hawk, you're getting 1 and 2, and you're getting Skatebird, Skater XL, and we don't even know when this skate game's coming out. They didn't give us a year. They didn't show us anything. This is probably 2-3 years away. I
don't want to be that petty, but I'm like, this is comments, yeah, but maybe a good reaction to being like, hey, people got really excited when Tony Hawk announced that he was going to do a skating game. Maybe we should, like, that
almost feels like it was, like what it was, that they looked at the social metrics and go, man, that Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remaster, that's blown up. Let's make a new skate game. What have we got? Oh, nothing. We'll just say we're really early in development. They've agreed at a table to make one. That's the development process at the moment.
And that was the thing. People were like, "Oh, Skate 4 announced," and then I went back and watched it. I'm like, technically, no one said Skate 4, did they?
No, they didn't say new skate game. Yeah, they didn't say Skate 4. And Skate 3 came out 10 years ago. Like, what have you guys been doing for 10 years? Like, maybe that's reflective of a downtrend in sales on Skate 3. I don't have the data in front of me, but you'd think if it was still moving units, they'd continue to make skateboarding games. But yeah, it feels almost like it's just a direct reaction to Tony Hawk 1 and 2 making its way to consoles later this year, mind you, too.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to deny the fact that there isn't this, like, very loud, obvious group of people that did love the Skate franchise, that are big fans of the Skate franchise, and that have actually been, like, kind of demanding for a Skate remake or, like, a new Skate game. So it's not like these fans were non-existent and weren't asking for the game. They were. Like, it was always around whenever there were, like, EA announcements and whatever. So, but yeah, it's just really funny that you guys announced it the same year that Tony Hawk announced his. So yeah, either way, we're all going to be happy. We're all getting a skate game.
Like, poor cousin might have been a bit of a harsh comparison, but it just feels like they're the little brother of Tony Hawk. And now that they're like, oh, Tony's doing this, so we're doing this too. Again, like, it's another reaction to sort of market trend, and I hope it does well, and I hope it sells. Obviously, you never want to sort of poo-poo on developers because it's people's livelihoods and their jobs and whatever else. But at least show us something. Like, I know we're in isolation mode and it's a lot of forward-facing singular Zoom calls for a lot of these conferences, but show us like a static image, show us a logo, or show us someone in a mocap suit. But when you come out and say it's in really early development, it just seems like, as you were saying, like they heard the announcements for 1 and 2 and went, okay, let's make another Skate. And they went, yep, that's it. And that's the development cycle they've done so far. Like, yeah. By the time this game comes out, hoverboards are probably going to be reality. So who's going to care about skateboarding? So, like, this is probably not going to be out for 2-3 years. But anyway. Anyway, that's my rant over. But yeah, that was EA Play 2020. Not a huge amount of content there. Couple of rock solid announcements like Apex crossplay. Star Wars Squadrons was, I think, the crown jewel of this event. Anyone that says Skate is a damn fool. But yes, Star Wars Squadrons, October 2nd. Sign me the heck up. I'm going to try that in VR and hopefully not get sick.
Oh, these bitter assholes
That's
with
it.
their anti-Pokemon Go and anti-Skate fucking pissing on everyone and their happiness.
Yeah, well, you know what? Here's some positive for you bunch of negative Nancy's.
Tweet of the week.
This tweet was pulled from @Bandicoot page, and the tweet itself reads, "The official title for the new Crash game has been leaked, peeps. Here is also the box art cover for Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. The announcement is so close." So obviously they haven't come out and confirmed that this exists yet, but there's been some leaks and this thing's popped up on like Play Asia, I think, or a couple of those sort of Asian game online marketplaces. And the art has been circulated a few times, but we are getting...
Taiwan.
Yeah, Taiwan. So Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, is apparently going to be announced imminently. Maybe it's going to be one of the big announcements for the reminder of Summer Games Fest. Who knows? But more Crash. You keen? You happy? Or have I chucked this in completely wrong?
This is the worst episode for me. I never played Crash. I didn't care about it. I never played a Crash game. Oh, I think I did maybe at like I don't know if it was like a McDonald's kiosk or maybe when way back when our youth was great, when there was always like a console for kids to play to keep them distracted.
Hell yeah.
I think I maybe played a Crash game, a level there once, and just no. So
you really need to give it a go.
Fans.
You need to, if you can find the Insane Trilogy at a good price, pick that up.
I know. You know what? I have played it recently. I played it when I played Uncharted. Right?
That's
it
meta.
was Uncharted.
You did play it in Uncharted 4, yeah.
There you go.
You got me there. But more Crash. This is great. Like, obviously, the remaster with the three titles sold well, reviewed well, got that hype going, and I know we were just sort of poo-pooing on some nostalgia, but I really enjoyed my time with the Insane Trilogy and some more Crash, some more crazy Bandicoot-oriented platforming. Sign me up. Box art, obviously we're seeing Crash on there. We've got Coco in the back and a few other bits and pieces kicking around. Almost looks like some different iterations of the Tiki Man. Yeah, I'm assuming we don't have to wait too long. I'm guessing this is going to be popping up on our radars very shortly as far as an official announcement. But yeah, more Crash.
Yeah. It's curious. I just like looking at, because they showed the picture for both PS4 and Xbox One. The Xbox One cover art has this little note where it says Xbox One, Xbox Series X. But, just like in the little corner there, which I never noticed. Do they ever do they always just announce that?
I think that's sort of part of their standard art now, where they're obviously going to be backwards/forwards compatible if you buy it when it's released on the one, and then it becomes, then a few months later the Series X comes out. But it's more Crash. I'm keen. You need to play some of the Insane Trilogy. It's great. All right, last bit of the pod. Let's do it.
New releases and events.
Well, we've mentioned already some of the events coming up this week. Obviously, we've got some more Pokemon announcements coming out this week. We've got the next little mini expansion to Season 5 of Apex in there, and we've got some games coming out this week, and Pokemon Cafe Mix is out on June 23rd on Switch, iOS, and Android. Duke Nukem 3D 20th Anniversary Edition World Tour comes to the Nintendo Switch on June 23rd. I don't know if you saw a really, really bad taste tweet that they released about this, about shooting pigs, like referencing cops the other day on the back of the whole BLM situation. whoever it was. But yeah, they made a tweet about, if you want to shoot some pigs, plug in a copy of Duke Nukem. And I was like, oh my goodness gracious me. Read the room.
Deary me.
But the game I wanted to highlight, and I'm assuming one that you might be excited for too, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer comes out on June the 23rd, PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. Heckin' yeah.
Don't screw me again and then change the date. Like, please don't. I can only take it so much. I got kind of spoiled for like Star Wars related like vehicle based games.
Yeah, it's sort of just rolling, like limping in over the finish line now on the back of Squadrons, isn't it?
Yeah. Actually, I wonder if they did it for that.
Yeah, I don't know.
That seems like interesting planning if they actually did decide to do that change. The other one I'm going to give a small kind of like shout out is a lot of people that have, well, not a lot of people, but a small section of people are actually super excited for SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated.
That is a mouthful.
It is. I've seen a few people pretty excited about it, and yeah, I have no history with SpongeBob in general, but yeah, I have seen a few people that have been pretty excited for it. So, yes,
I'm looking at it right now. So it's a remade version of the cult classic. Apparently, graphically, like it looks great. Like it's 3D SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe it's going to be a good little hit for the kiddies and the adults that are big fans of SpongeBob and Co.
Well, I mean, yeah, like it's adults that I'm hearing the hype from, so probably the same kind that play Skate 4. Oh,
hey!
Well, actually, it's not called Skate 4, is it?
Yeah,
Untitled Skate Game.
Untitled Skate Game. That's perfect. But yeah, so we've got a lot of stuff coming this week. So keep your eyes peeled to the socials because there is going to be a ton of announcements, some more Pokemon coming your way, some game releases, and all that other good stuff. We'll also be having early access by the end of this week on episode 5 of the Hungry Game Show. And episode 5 is actually John O'Peck battling The Last of Us. So the original Last of Us is going to war against Mr. John O'Peck this week. Let's see if he does ascend to the top of the mountain or if he falls into the mud with Salim the Dream Abraham at the back end of the charts. So yeah, we've had 4 competitors enter the Hungry Game Show circle now. And be sure to check those episodes out if you haven't already. All 4 are available directly via the Hungry Games RSS feed. But yeah, episode 5, early access this coming week. And also by the tail end of this week / next week, we'll have early access to another episode of the 8-Bit Cast at patreon.com/we're8bit, which sees our boy Benny jump on the podcast and have some banters with Andrew and Alex from a couple of NPCs. So it's a great little episode to give a listen. So if you want to get in on that early, you can support us for as little as $1 on the Patreon. And as we've mentioned, every dollar we earn from Patreon or our merch store or web store sales between now and July 31 will be going direct to Black Lives Matter oriented charities, both here in Australia and the United States. So if you want to throw a couple of bucks behind us, now is a perfect time because it's going to be going to an even better cause than 8-Bit directly. So do what you can to support there. But yeah, this has been episode 199 of the Hungry Games podcast. We've got episode 200 coming up next. You've still got some time to send in your questions, comments, concerns, memories, all that fun stuff. You can drop us an email, hello@8bit.net. You can drop us a DM at weare8bit, or you could reach us on the socials at Miss Ali Hart or at Brendan8bit. But Miss Hart, you got anything else you want to say before we close this down?
No, I just want everyone to send in your questions for episode 200. I'm actually super excited to hear from everyone, all our listeners out there that have supported us all this time. So,
hell yeah. Much love.
Stay
You've been
hungry.
listening to The Hungry Gamers, one of many gaming and geek culture related podcasts from the 8-Bit Collective over on 8bit.net. Check out more episodes on your podcast service of choice. And while you're there, please be sure to rate and subscribe. Until next time, boys and girls, stay hungry.
Bloody Untitled Skate Game.
Still ready for Pokemon White.
Oh my. Front to back.
Pika!